Welcome to Backstage with Richard Ridge. 18-year-old Jackie Evancho is one of the world's most renowned recording artists. She first dazzled audiences at the age of 10 on NBC's America's Got Talent. All 7 of her albums have hit #1 on the Billboard classical charts. Her latest is the eagerly awaited new album called The Debut, featuring songs from some of Broadway's newest contemporary musicals, including Hamilton, Dear Evan Hansen, Waitress, and Wicked. And I caught up with Jackie here at the legendary Sardi's to chat about her career, her new album, and her latest tour. Well, first of all, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sitting with me today.
Oh, of course. Thank you for letting me.
You have a huge fan base at Broadway World.
I'm so glad.
They're so waiting for this new album.
Oh my gosh.
So tell me what it's about, the new album, what's it called?
Okay, so the new album is called The Debut, and it is based off of this brand new Broadway world that we all love so much, like Hamilton and Dear Evan Hansen, Wicked, all that amazing stuff. And I basically chose the songs that I loved most and spoke to me the most and kind of put my own perspective on them.
Yeah.
And put it into one big album.
Because look at the composers. You have Lin-Manuel Miranda, you have Sarah Bareilles, you have Pasek and Paul, I mean, you have Ahrens and Flaherty. Like, were these some of your favorites? Were these your favorite shows? Or?
Yes, yes. And I actually did a lot of research before I concluded that I wanted to do these songs.
Yeah.
I went and watched them live. I studied the characters and really wanted to kind of create this connection with them so that when I performed them, I could at least try to do these songs justice.
Choosing the material, like how did you weed it all down? Or were these songs that you fell in love with?
Yes, these were my top favorite songs from the show, from the entire process of the show, starting from the beginning of the plot line and bringing it all the way down to the end. I really wanted to find the song that to me was the most pivotal and important. And for me, this part of the show where she's singing is really important for the entire message. So.
This is Requiem from Dear Evan Hansen. This is the mom. What a beautiful choice to put on your album.
Yeah, I know. I loved it so much. And for me, the story itself, I think, is one that we don't often talk about a lot. You know, the conflicting feelings about losing somebody and how initially you could be more angry than sad. And it's okay to feel that way. And I thought that was a really great message.
Now, who produced the album with you?
His name is Mike Mangini.
Okay.
And I absolutely love him. I worked with him once 3 years ago, and we had done 2 covers, Safe and Sound and Writings on the Wall. And I thought that his perspective on the songs, he really took them and kind of flipped them, and I thought that that would be perfect for this album.
So you're going to tour with this album, aren't you?
Absolutely, yes. And I'm very excited. I want to kind of go everywhere, but I would love to start here too.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think it's actually really important to kind of start this tour in New York City, where this whole genre was birthed, and I'm really excited that that's going to happen.
Let's talk about Broadway. As you said, New York City. Would you like to come to Broadway and do a show?
I would love to go to Broadway for a show, even if it's just like a limited run for a couple months. And obviously, I would love to play Christine. That would be so cool.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that whole entire show is what inspired me to start singing. And I grew up listening and striving to be like Sarah Brightman. And so, yeah, I guess there was something about it that got me started.
Let's go back to the beginning. So growing up in Pittsburgh, when were you first aware that you could sing and that you had this voice?
Well, I never really was aware. I was always singing, and then I actually sucked for a long time until I got my tonsils removed, and it released this entire new voice. And what really got me singing this genre was seeing the Phantom of the Opera, because all I heard was stuff on the radio, you know, Selena Gomez, Justin Bieber, and they sing very pop. And so for me to hear this whole new world of singing really just captured my interest.
Because that changed everything for you listening to the Phantom of the Opera, right?
Yes, absolutely. The Phantom of the Opera, the story, the passion, and how the music kind of ties it all together was what really spoke to me most. Which is surprising because I was 8.
So no one in your family had this kind of talent?
We're all very musical. Yeah. My dad plays drums. My mom was in band in high school. Okay. She plays clarinet and oboe. My uncle plays piano. We all love music, but nobody sings. Nobody sings. It's just we have this connection with music.
Except for you, of course.
Yes, I'm the only one that sings. Although my whole siblings love to sing, they just don't want to do it the way I do.
Exactly. So growing up again, who was your earliest mentor that set you on your path? Was there a voice teacher or someone that believed in you early on?
I think that my mentor was my mom.
Yeah.
And she has had no musical training for singing, but she just had this great intuition on where to guide me. You know, she was really like my platform. And for mentors, I just really wanted to kind of carve my own path instead of following in the footsteps of all these amazing people who definitely deserve it. But I want to be like one of those amazing people too, you know? I want to be like Barbra Streisand.
Well, speaking of her, first of all of your albums, all 7 albums, have gone to #1 on the Billboard Classical charts. I mean, what does that mean to you? That's pretty amazing, right?
Yes, it means the world. It shows me that I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
And that's just an amazing feeling of that confirmation.
You have recorded duets with some of the best of the best.
Yes.
I mean, the list has Tony Bennett, Placido Domingo, Barbra Streisand, Joshua Bell,
Yes.
Cheyenne Jackson, right?
Yes, and that was my favorite because he was so down to earth, and I really got to know him from my PBS special. So we had like inside jokes. I used to call him Shanae, and it was so fun. We had this great relationship, and then we sang our duet, "Say Something," and it was just great. I love his voice and his acting. He's amazing.
Oh, sure. But I mean, look at the people you've duetted with. I mean, what were some of your favorite memories of working with them?
For me, when I worked with Tony Bennett, he had a dog that he brought with him, and me being this little girl, I was obsessed with him. And also, I remember that specifically because that was the first time I decided to, you know, groom my own eyebrows like 5 minutes before this show. And I took a razor and I shaved it, so I looked absolutely ridiculous. But the experience was great.
Like Barbra Streisand, like doing a duet with her, what was that like?
It was great for me because I got to have my voice next to somebody that I absolutely adored growing up. I mean, my favorite song of hers was Secondhand Rose. I was always singing that in the car with my mom. But for me to have my voice next to hers was just an absolute dream. And I talk about it in my shows a lot because it is such a highlight of my career so far.
Let's just talk about recording. I mean, like I said, all your albums have gone to #1 all around the world. What do you love the most about recording?
What I love most about recording would have to be the opportunity to discover something completely new that you didn't know you were capable of doing. For me, that was actually singing in my chest, mainly. You know, like I'd never really done a completely poppy sound. And this album, I kind of just sat in front of the microphone, and whatever my voice told me to sing was what happened. And I did not know that I had this kind of very belty, chesty voice, and I discovered that through this album. That's my favorite part.
See, that's the great thing about like singing Broadway music.
Yes.
There's like the belt, there's the soprano, there's different types, right?
Absolutely. It's really a world for everybody.
Yeah.
That's what Broadway is.
You embody a song not only with your voice, but with your spirit.
Yes.
And I mean, like, how do you choose material? Like, how do you choose a song? Like, what attracts you to a song?
I think for me, what attracts me is masterful lyrics and the way that they play off of the melody as well. And for me, I love more somber melodies, which I thought was great to include in this album because there are so many beautiful ballads in Broadway too. Sarah Bareilles is a master at writing those, and I actually really, really wanted to include one of her songs from Waitress, just to, you know, give her a little homage because I love her.
You know, I love how your career has gone and escalated. I mean, everyone finds a way in. Everyone's way is different.
Yes.
I mean, what I loved about yours, let's go back to when you were 10 on America's Got Talent. How did you land that?
Well, actually, it's a funny story because I tried out for America's Got Talent twice before I actually got on the show. Who knew that sending a video instead of being there in person was what was going to get me on the show? But yeah, I mean, it was one of those, my mom came to me and she was like, hey, you know, they're doing this YouTube special, you want to give it one last shot? And apparently third time was a charm. And I got on the show through that one video. It was crazy.
So you started through YouTube?
Yes, yeah, as many do.
Isn't Isn't that amazing?
Absolutely. I love YouTube for that.
So like that first time on the show, you're singing for millions of people. You know, you could do anything in your life now, you know that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You could do absolutely anything when you do that. Were you scared or like what was going through your mind? I watched your videos again. You were so beautifully poised, and you sound just amazing on this. Like, what was going through your mind at 10?
Well, I think that the beauty of being 10 and being in that situation, I was blissfully ignorant. You know.
Good thing to be.
Yeah. So it didn't really hit me that holy crap. Not only is everybody in front of me hearing me, but so is a lot of America. So I was just there going, I'm gonna do what I do. You know, I'm just gonna sing. And if they love me, they love me. Like I was just concentrating on making sure that I was hitting the notes right and at the same time, like not thinking anything at all. That's the crazy part about music. For me, is when I'm singing, I can never think back to what exactly I was thinking while I was singing. I used to describe it as being possessed by the music.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
You live inside it.
Yeah, exactly. And if you can't do that, then music is something that's a lot more challenging.
Yeah.
You need to have this kind of relationship with it.
Yeah. Was there a defining moment for you when you said, this is all I'm going to do? Like, I have to do this?
I think it was America's Got Talent, being on that stage and the feeling it gave me, the overwhelming proudness that I had for myself. Yeah, I think that's what solidified my love for it.
Yeah. David Foster has played a big part in your life and career, right? Mm-hmm. Will you tell our audience?
Well, David Foster, I call him my musical dad because the minute I got off of America's Got Talent, I was rushed to his studio in LA and we recorded albums together and did charity benefits and toured together, and so he's really, really been a very big, pivotal part of my career.
Yeah. Let's talk about touring, because you tour all around the world.
Yes.
What's it like singing for the fans, like in Europe?
I love singing for the fans in Europe, and I make a point where wherever I go, I love to learn a little bit of that language so that I can speak it on stage and kind of get them to relate even more, because music is language of the universe. We all understand that. But, you know, when you're talking to an audience, it's the challenging part, and so I love to relate to them.
What's it like meeting your fans? They're really loyal.
Oh yeah, they are. I love meeting my fans so much. I can't tell you how many little girls come to my shows in these like princess dresses, and they'll come backstage. We make a point of bringing them backstage, and they'll tell me, I want to be like you when I grow up, and I want to be a princess and a singer just like you. And it's like, it's so surreal to hear kids like that, because I was that once, you know? And it's a really great feeling.
What I admire the most about you is that you use your voice and your celebrity for great advocacy to help make our world a better place.
Absolutely, yes.
And not everybody does that.
I know, and the thing is for me, it was very natural. I mean, ever since America's Got Talent, I was doing interviews and saying, I want to protect animals and I want to help the seals. And ever since I was little, I was using the light that I have on me for good.
Yeah.
And right now, I'm actually doing that with my mom.
Well, let's talk about this, because there's a benefit happening on February 15th, right?
Yes.
Tell us what that is.
So it's a benefit, a charity benefit that my mom is trying to create. It's a charity called Braveheart, and it was inspired by this really sad story of somebody we know who, the minute they turned 18, their family said, now that you're an adult, take care of yourself, we don't accept you. He was a gay kid, and he was absolutely amazing, and I mean, the LGBTQ community is so vulnerable to their families not accepting them, and that was something that really hit home for us. And we wanted to be able to give people in that situation a place to live when their family doesn't accept them. So my mom is working on that right now.
I love this. So this takes place on Friday evening, February 15th.
Yes.
It is for the Braveheart Foundation of Pittsburgh, right?
Yes. Yep.
Now, for people to get tickets, they can go to
braveheart.org, I think.
Okay,
yes.
Great.
And my mom is working so hard on it, and this is her very first thing that she's really done, because she's had chronic Lyme's her whole life. So she's been very kind of disabled, I guess.
Sure.
But now that she's getting some of her energy back, I'm just so proud of her for using that for something good, you know? I'm so proud of my mom.
You know, just what's it like being in a recording studio? Because is it just, how do you record? You record with just the cans on? Is the orchestra there sometimes? How does that all work for you?
It's different every time, the recording process, but for this specific instance, it was have a meeting with the producer, and we kind of come up with a game plan.
Yeah.
And it ended up being that he would go and figure out ways to put the tracks together, give me a very raw kind of like synth violin and piano. And then I would record onto that, because for me, listening with just piano is where I really get in touch with my emotions. I love doing just piano and vocals on stage.
Yeah.
So having that simple, minimalistic backing track really helped me to kind of really get into it.
So, I always ask people who record too and then do concerts, it's sort of like they love just being one-on-one with just the music and themselves in there.
Yeah. Well, for me, I love different things about each thing. For singing live, I love being able to change things up, and people are like, ooh, that was different, I liked that. But with the studio, I really like to kind of work on perfecting what I do, so I can really take it slow and be meticulous about it, and I love that.
You play to thousands of people live, yet it looks like you're singing to each individual person in that room.
Yes,
How do you do that?
I don't know. It's something that I just did the minute I started singing, and I think that's what people found so special about me as well, was that I would really lock on to like a specific audience member for like 5 seconds, and then it would feel like the entire song was sung just to them.
Yeah.
And I loved doing that. I loved connecting with my fans.
What is the best bit of advice that you've been given, like in your life, either personally or professionally, that you live by on a day-to-day basis?
For me, what advice I was given was trusting, having trust in at least one specific person. If you trust one specific person in your career, you can really just get to know that person and work with them, and then you guys can both find great ideas and great opportunities. And I think being family with the people that you work with is incredibly important. And that was what was really told to me early on in my life, is be family with your co-workers.
Like I said, you have a huge fan base here at Broadway World, and there are many talented people who are trying to start a career like when you started a career. Like I know a lot of people don't like to give advice, but what insight would you give to someone who wanted to start a career like in the recording industry or something like that?
I would say definitely utilize social media. That is what is giving people careers now. So YouTube videos, Instagram videos, don't be afraid to advertise yourself, and be eager and determined. Any opportunity you can't say no to, you just got to go for it, just keep going for it.
That's some great advice.
Thank you.
Okay, so the new album, the debut, comes out on April 12th, I think, at Amazon Music and Spotify and anywhere else everybody downloads music from, right? And the tour kicks off very, very soon. This has been such an honor to sit with you.
Thank you. I was so glad to be here, and it's an honor to talk to you guys. Thank you.